Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We are the Real Pineapple. This is Hunter, and oh my God, we're talking about this trailer. I'm here with Scott. Scott, how you doing?
That was good. I feel like that was because it's daylight savings time and we have extra hour. You just felt like you really needed to stretch that evening out.
Yeah, I got stretched out every now and then. Phrasing, and then I'm here with Colin. Colin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty chill. How are you, Hunter?
I'm excited because we're about to talk about this movie that looks like it's gonna suck. We're talking about. I'm kidding. We're talking about the last. I hope it's the last one. I'll be honest. I hope this is the last trailer that they show. We are talking about the trailer for Avengers: Infinity War, and so look, I don't want to go on a huge anti-DC rant.
Here we go.
But I'm kind of going to. So hear me out here. So here's the thing. Marvel has done, this is going to be the 18th, which is fucking crazy thing, but the 18th movie that they've done in 10 years. Their movies have made over $14 billion. So they're almost averaging $1 billion a movie. Here's the thing. When you take your time and you build your universe up, this feels like an event. Because, I mean, look, I think I like Justice League the most out of all of us. I think I gave it a B. But they rushed Justice League. Like, they really rushed Justice League. They have taken their time and put little teases of Thanos, in Guardians Volume 1 and Thor: The Dark World. Like, they've very subtly, like, hey, he's coming. And now we're finally getting this culmination of pretty much damn near every hero that we've met over these 18 films is now going to converge to go ahead and try to take down Thanos. And can I just say, this trailer, I went, at worst, this movie will be good. Like, I think that's the floor for it, is that this will be a good movie. At best, this looks like one of the best spectacles that you could honestly.
You're trying to think about. Your mind is trying to comprehend if at its best the Avengers movie at its best, and I think your just brain is exploding right now.
But, so I'm not gonna lie. Through Friday morning when this came out, I set an alarm at 6 a.m. because I knew that's when the trailer was coming out. Because I was like, looked at my phone, like, why the fuck am I away? Oh, Avengers, okay. And I immediately turned on my TV and watched that trailer, and then immediately downloaded it to my phone. That was basically my Friday. It was at work while it was snowing. I just had the Avengers trailer playing on repeat. I'm like, cool. This is a solid choice to get through my work day. This looks epic, man. This just looks incredible. From seeing Star-Lord and Tony Stark have who's a bigger dick off, basically, to seeing the Iron Spider costume, to seeing the Guardians team up with Avengers, seeing Wakanda, seeing T'Challa back with Shuri and everybody, to seeing Captain America, who, before I throw it to you, Scott, I just gotta say, I know everyone loves Iron Man and Rob Downey Jr. He's incredible. I still stand by the fact that it's Tony Stark playing Rob Downey Jr. and not the other way around. Because anytime I see him in interviews, I go, oh yeah, it's Tony Stark. It's not even Rob Downey Jr. Chris Evans has been the most important person as Captain America in this universe so far. I know everyone didn't love Civil War as much as I did, but between First Avenger and Winter Soldier, which I think we all agree is at least in the top 3 best Marvel movies they've done, to Civil War, Chris Evans as Captain America, he's had the most depth, and he's gone on the biggest hero's journey, and seeing him just fucking willing it when Thanos is trying to just like fuck shit up. That last shot before you see the Spider-Man going ham scene, I just went, oh my god, Chris Evans, you're the shit. I am so incredibly excited for this movie. I can't believe that I'm in a world where this is going to exist in just over 4 weeks. Colin, talk to me, man. What you got?
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see what like $1 billion looks in the form of a movie, because wasn't it like 500 million for each part or something like that?
So the rumor is that they spent 500 mil on. But to be fair, so the record for highest pre-sale tickets, Black Panther just broke that. Avengers broke that in 6 hours. So it's just like this is tracking early for $230 million domestic. Like, this movie's gonna make so much money. Marvel is just laughing their asses off already. But sorry, throwing it back.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. Like 500 million's a great investment, because I mean, it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna make billions. So, but I'm just saying, like, I never thought movies would cost that much. Like,
right?
I was like, I mean, I don't know what you're spending all that money on, but I mean, obviously you're having to pay all the actors that have big price tags now. So I'm sure a lot of it goes to that. A lot of it's marketing, but it's just, this is the most expensive movie of all time. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I think the last one was I think it's the third Pirates movie. It's like 350 million at the time.
So it's like far surpassing that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's nuts. That's super crazy that that amount of money is being put into making a movie. So I'm curious to see, like, damn, what's this gonna look like? So we just watched the last trailer, the one that came out on Friday, March 16th, I think. So we're recording this on Sunday, so just a couple days ago. I mean, it looks like there's going to be a lot of big, giant fight scenes. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's definitely going to be crazy to see all of these movies converge into one movie again, because we haven't seen a lot of we haven't seen everybody like come together since Civil War, and now I think there's even more people at play because Guardians are involved, right? Yeah. So you get like adolescent Groot now. Like, what age is Groot in this movie?
He's like teenage Groot.
He's
like 14, I guess 14, 15.
That would be a good like sitcom, Teenage Groot.
I'd watch the shit out of that. By the way, I was right. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides currently holds the record with a budget of $378.5 million, while the Hobbit trilogy is the most expensive back-to-back film production with $623 million.
Holy shit!
And then Hunter, do you know? Yeah, that's crazy. Who's this like chubby Asian guy? Do you know who this is? Has he been in something? Was he in Doctor Strange or something? I'm forgetting.
Yeah, Wong.
Wong.
You're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just curious, because like I was surprised he made the big poster. Like, Hawkeye's not on the poster, but you can see he's just peeking out right above Doctor Strange, a little chubby Wong. So good for him. So and there's no Hawkeye. I'm like, how did he make the cut? But
it's funny you bring that up, and that's actually become like that's become an internet joke. Like, Hawkeye is just like chilling in like Cabo, just like, oh man, it sucks for you guys. You gotta save the world. I'm just sitting here like drinking Mai Tais or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Like, I am curious, but the thing is too, Marvel. We didn't see Ant-Man. We didn't see Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck what they say. Apparently, they've confirmed, but haven't confirmed Captain Marvel. She's not on the poster. So I think Marvel's got quite a few things that they're just not showing because they want to have some surprises left. But yeah, it is kind of funny that Jeremy Renner just can't catch a break, man. He's like, they're like, oh hey, we want you to be the Jason Bourne spinoff. Oh, you get one movie. Oh, hey, you're in Mission Impossible. Oh, you get one. All right, like that sucks for you. Like he just cannot. So I am curious what they're gonna do with Hawkeye. But yeah, I did kind of chuckle when he was on the poster. I'm like, oh, Renner. But Scott, what did you think, man?
Definitely a cool trailer. Like, as is a lot of these Avenger movies, I always speculate beforehand how they're going to be able to put everything together and include this like cast equally without making like a 5-hour movie. I mean, like, you have all of the staples. Like the cast list is insane for this movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's Robert Downey Jr., Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Josh Brolin, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Joey Saldana, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, just to name a few. Like Paul Bettany. It's a little insane. Just the sheer fact that you have all these different characters that they've built up so much, which is why, like you said, why we love them, and why Marvel has become so successful, and the reason why this has become such an epic climax to this series is the way that they were able to develop each storyline and to bring them all together, especially this many. It's going to be interesting to see who gets the most screen time, who is kind of the plot is centered around, because there's going to be obviously certain plot devices and ways that this can go with each separate character. But yeah, it looks really fun. The Russo brothers did Winter Soldier, which was like one of my favorite action movies, period. And then they did Civil War as well, I believe. But yeah, there's no reason to think this is going to be any different from any of the other Avengers movies or what Marvel's been putting out, and we'll continue saying it until they prove us wrong. But the way they're able to develop the characters and bring them all together and to make a cohesive unit that remains interesting and keeps on the edge of the seat is bar none right now in action movies, period. So, and let alone sci-fi and comic book type series. So yeah, you make a great point, Colin. Where is that money going? Like, that's a lot of money. Like, it can't just be in production value, right? Like, I mean, it's got to be salaries and whatnot. But they're gonna make it work because everybody's gonna see this thing.
I'm sure Robert Downey Jr. is getting a hefty check on this. Like, which is probably why they'll kill him off. Oops. But I think. But you're right though. I mean, you think about the first Avengers. The budget on that, I think it was like $225, something like that. But I mean, you got to think about they're including Spider-Man, they're including Guardians of the Galaxy, they're including Black Panther, they're including like the sheer scale of how much they're expanding this. I will be honest, if it wasn't Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely who did Winter Soldier and Civil War, there were screenwriters on that, and if it wasn't the Russos directing this, who again they were directors on Winter Soldier and Civil War, I would be a lot more concerned if it wasn't all those four men involved. But to be honest though, and this is something that people don't want to hear, but it's true, even when Marvel puts out a dumb movie like Thor the Dark World, or they put out something that's disappointing like an Iron Man 2, or they make a dog shit TV show like Inhumans or Iron Fist, their brand is so strong that people just go, okay, what's the next thing? And now, with that said, they could Golden State Warriors this shit, like from a couple seasons back. They could just have this great like build up to Infinity War and then just fuck it up. Like that is a possibility. Like, I have to throw out there, like to play devil's advocate. But at the same time, I think the Russos clearly know what's at stake. And I'm sure they've had nerds come up to being like, don't fuck this up. Like, I'm sure they're very aware of the tasks that they have at hand. And I don't know, man. I just sit back, I watch this trailer, I go, this is what I wanted as a kid. You know, reading these comics, thinking, man, it'd be so cool if, you know, I could ever get a movie of this. And yeah, the genuine scale, and just seeing Doctor Strange interact with Spider-Man, that's something that happens quite a bit in the comics. That just warmed my heart. Seeing Captain America, but they'll probably go the nomad route with him, where he, you know, drops the mantle. Seeing him back in Wakanda is awesome. Seeing Bucky back in the fight. Seeing Hulk. There's so much here to unpack. I'll be honest, I was kind of getting sensory overload. The first time I watched this, like, Scott, you're right on the money. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Oh my god, there's so much. Okay, but there's this. And like, I was kind of like, my brain was like, slow your roll. But in the probably 60 times I've watched this trailer, I will say, I think there's going to be a major death in this. I think Loki's a goner, personally. I think Iron Man's done. I think he's done in this one. I think they're gonna kill him off, and I know that would make a lot of people upset. But one thing I will say about Marvel,
but he wouldn't even be in the second part. You don't think? Like, you don't think they would wait and kill him off in the second part?
You know, that's a fair point. I think they'll kill Loki in this one. I think they're gonna kill a core Avenger. Like, I don't know if it'll be Vision or...
Do you feel like they have to?
I don't think...
Like, do you feel like... Do we all agree that, like, if nobody major died in this, that it would be kind of cheap?
So, I won't say cheap. I'll say the second movie, because I think a lot of them have to make it to the next part. If I don't
So this is just the first part?
This is the first part, man. Yeah, it's the first of 2 parts. So, second part comes out next year. So, if Cap and Iron Man don't, if neither of them die at the end of the next movie, it's a total cheap. It's a total cop out as far as I'm concerned. I will come on the podcast and say that, because if there's something you can criticize Marvel for, is definitely the fact that they have not been killing off major characters, which I know sounds kind of weird to say. I mean, they killed off Coulson, but then they're like, "Oh, we're doing an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, fuck that," and they brought him back. So
it definitely feels like catering to the fans, for sure.
It does. So I mean, I fully acknowledge that. So
and it makes it so that it's like there's not as much on the line. Like, if you just never think that anybody's in real danger to be killed off. Like, it doesn't give you that fear of, like, oh my god, my favorite character is going to be gone. You know, I feel like it adds to the suspense if you know that it's possible.
That's why I think a show like Game of Thrones is so exciting and, like, watchable for so many people watch it. Is like, they could kill off anybody at any time, even major characters, and that's why part of the reason why I enjoy it. And I think that you're right, Colin. If there's no chance that there's gonna be a major character leave, because, like, you watch, and even, like, Civil War to me was kind of that way. It's like, well, they're not really gonna kill anybody in this. Like, it left some of the excitement out of it that maybe could have been there. But yeah, I think somebody needs to go.
If they kill Hawkeye, I'm gonna be really sad.
I think they'll kill War Machine, because honestly, they've got Falcon and they got Black Panther. It's like, all right, we don't need 3 black superheroes. Like, one of you has to go.
I don't know. I feel like Marvel and Disney's trending the opposite way. I feel like they're gonna go white guy, kill white guy, man.
Yeah, let's take a vote. Who is the black guy or white guy?
I feel like Hawkeye is like the fact that they're not throwing him on the poster. He's not getting much, like, show in the trailer. I'm like, I have a bad feeling he's
I can see that. I would say white. I would say white guy. I'd vote white boy.
Yeah, if we're just going white or
well,
black.
they got plenty to choose from, but honestly though, I mean, as far as the movie's concerned, I haven't been upset with them not killing characters off, because I knew they were building to this. Now, we're here now. They need to cash in on that. Like, major characters have to go. Contracts are expiring. Like, people need to go.
And there's so many. Honestly. You don't need this many people in one movie. There's not enough screen time for them.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I love me Chris Evans, and in my diatribe at the beginning here, I said he's the MVP of the MCU. He has been the most consistent character. He's been the one that I've grown to love the most. Chris Evans is exactly what I would picture Captain America, like, Jack Kirby writing him coming off the comic panels into an actual film. That's why he needs to go. And I know everyone loves Rob Downey Jr. Like, Rob Downey Jr. is the shit, and he's been a great Tony Stark. But I think those two characters, I think it'll happen in the next one, they specifically need to go. Like, even if they just killed those two off, I would be like, okay, well done. But they need, one of them minimum needs to go. But yeah, you're right. There's so many characters in this. I mean, just off Wakanda fucking alone. And I did appreciate that they were, they pulled a Wonder Woman Justice League. They're like, remember Black Panther? Like, he's here too. It's like, oh fuck, that's right. Like they definitely focus on Wakanda in this as well. I forgot the fucking Hulk was in this. Oh my god, a Hulk's in here too. There's so much shit going on, and that is my one hesitation. Is even reading the comics, they had multiple issues to carry it out. I mean, and I would be more concerned if they weren't doing this in 2 movies. Because if they were just saying, yep, we're doing one Avengers Infinity War movie, I'd say this is going to fail epically. Because there's no way you can balance all this. So, them spreading it out, pulling a Deathly Hollows, that does make me go, okay. Like, you can probably pull all this off. But, yeah, the scale on this is massive, and it's never been done before. I mean, you think about it.
Is that exciting for anybody or more troublesome? Because do we feel like there's a point where it's too much?
So this is what I'll say.
Is there too much of a good thing? You know what I mean?
For me, no, but I will say it's going to be, I always kind of I brought up on Civil War, you can hear the carnival music because there's so much shit they're bouncing. This is like double that. And so I will be the first to admit, I do kind of go, oh god, don't fuck this up, please. Because I don't know if my heart can handle it. But, like I said, if it wasn't the Russos, as it wasn't the same writing team from Winter Soldier and Civil War, I would be more worried about it. But I think these guys understand what they need to do to make this successful. So I am going to kind of go into it with that Deathly Hallows Part 1 vibe, in the sense of, okay, where are you leaving me to finish this up, if that makes sense. Colin, kind of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's what worries me about watching like half of a story being told. That's a good thing to compare it to, is Deathly Hallows Part 1, where you're not getting the whole story. It's definitely a to be continued situation, which can kind of leave you with a feeling of, you're not completely satisfied. You want to just get to that closure that the second movie's going to bring. But if you just kind of like know that ahead of time, like you can watch one day, you'll be able to watch this in one complete piece. It'll probably, you'll probably enjoy it more. Probably. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely knowing that there's gonna be more makes you a little bit hesitant, I think, as far as the plot goes. But it's all about how they kind of lead you on to the next one. I think if they leave it a bit of a cliffhanger, or I don't know. There's another part of. Jesus, that scared the shit out of me.
What was that?
There's an Alexa in here. Just started talking at me. Like, who is in my
Shut up,
room
Alexa.
right now? I told you to go to sleep. Don't talk to me right now. God, what was I saying?
That was great.
Just there's a certain aspect of the movies where there's two parts to it, kind of like a lot of these seasons now, like especially like Walking Dead, we'll split it up into two, and I feel like I'm just being led on the entire time. It's just an entire setup for this last movie. It's like, okay, well, just show us this last movie. So hopefully it kind of shows its own character and uniqueness enough to where I stay interested, and it makes me want to see the next one, not just like it's some vessel to move forward, is to move these characters along. Hopefully it, because there's two, they allow themselves to bridge out and you get a little bit more in depth with some of the characters.
No, I agree, and I think that is a fair point. The fact that there is going to be a second one of these. I will say Josh Brolin. I know one of the things we talk about is, I mean, because obviously you can't have all these creatures be practical effects, but I was seeing the money. I mean, you definitely see that they put some money into making this shit. I actually just rewatched Justice League on Friday, Thursday or Friday. And it's hilarious to me how bad the villain from Justice League, I can't remember, not Stephen Wolf, that's from Final Fantasy. Yeah, I was like, that's not right. Oh no, that is right. No, Stephen Wolf, yeah, that is right.
Wolfman?
Yes, yeah, Wolfman. How bad the CG looked on him, I was like, oh my god, this is really bad. But they did a mix of practical makeup with CG for Brolin's Thanos. I went, oh wow, that actually looks way better than I was actually expecting. Like, it felt like they rendered the shit out of that. So, I'm very curious to see what Josh Brolin brings to the table as Thanos, because while I don't think the villain problem is as bad as some people do for Marvel movies, I fully acknowledge that they have not done the best job of developing their villains as more than just conquest for their heroes. So I'm curious on how they're going to develop Thanos and make him credible and make him scary. Scott, kind of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely it'll be interesting to see about the CG and how they incorporate that. Sometimes, for me anyways, it can be kind of distracting as far as the overall feel of it, but it'll be good to finally get a better look at him. I feel like it's been more of a tease up until this point as far as a lot of the other the movies go and storylines. Hopefully we'll get a better picture of him and his powers and kind of what he's all about. What do you think, Colin?
Yeah, I think definitely some of this money is going to probably some new ways of getting Josh Brolin to really kind of come to life through this Thanos character.
Yeah.
So hopefully that over the course of the movie that doesn't become a distraction, because I know that type of thing has become a distraction for me in other movies. And to go further along that point, I hope we don't get too much of like all the Avenger guys like fighting a bunch of like endless like little henchmen that all look the same, because I usually hate that. So
like a Lord of the Rings thing where like
and I mean it's gonna have to be there to some extent, because there's gonna be a giant war.
We saw Wakanda. I mean,
right, and so they're all fighting. They're fighting a countless number of a bunch of creatures that look the same, which is just it's just kind of what you do. But I just hope that that's not like there's not too much of it, because I tend to just think that's an easy tool to have everybody like use their powers and have cool like just show off their fighting. But I like it when it's you're having more intense battles where it's not them just like wiping out 30 guys, because we've seen that countless times now. So I just hope they have some more innovative ways of showing off the Avengers working together and using their skills.
Last thing I'll say, I love that that we got our first look at the Black Order, which is Thanos's
Yeah, you
henchmen,
would
basically.
like that, wouldn't
I
you?
shut up. Yeah, I know. You see them in that shot with Loki, in that scene where Doctor Strange is being tortured by Ebony Maw is the name of the one that like puts his finger up to his lip, which was very Voldemort looking, which just fucking creeped me out. I was like, ugh, okay, but he's like a master manipulator, like through magic. So I just thought that was so cool. See that straight out of the comics. I was like, oh my god. So, yeah, this is such a big movie. Colin's come down here to see it. Colin is coming back to Reno, which I'm so excited.
I gotta get the I gotta feed off of your Marvel nerd energy.
Oh, it will definitely be there. I'm buying tickets on Friday. But April 24th, I believe this comes out. The 24th. Yeah. So we will damn sure have a review of that weekend. I'm so excited for this. Even if just the Wakanda part is great, I'll be like, oh, that was a good movie. So hopefully we get. Look, I had my expectations very high for Black Panther, and it met them. The bar is probably even higher for this for me, just because this is going to be such a spectacle. So I'm nervous, but I'm really excited. So, guys, let us know what you thought of the Infinity War trailer. You can follow us here on SoundCloud. You can follow us on Podbean and iTunes. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us 5 stars. Let us know what you think. At The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Scott on Twitter at
Newman the First.
And you can follow Colin on Twitter at
The Real Neil.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll have reviews up this weekend for Tomb Raider, Pacific Rim Uprising.
Rim Job 2018.
Oh, Scott, I love you. And we'll have a review up as well for Love, Simon. I'm actually going to go see that on Saturday. But, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Meow.